You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Big Brother fans, we have got some BB27 live feeds action for you with Keanu drinking his own Kool-Aid and being more deluded than usual, while Rachel is feeling unsympathetic about somebody's sob story. Plus, the house guest got a little stir crazy and a bit aggressive during the backyard lockdown. It's Belinda, and we're going to get into the latest mess in the Big Brother house, plus a quick look at how votes lie as we creep closer to Thursday's live eviction. And hey, hit subscribe if you're not following us. All right, let's get through this. Let's start with Dungeon Master Keanu's epic delusions. But be sure to stick around for part 2 of the video to find out what set Rachel's tail feathers on fire and seems to have suckered in Kelly as well. All right, diving in. On the feeds, Keanu told Kelly he doesn't want anybody to know, but he let her in on the huge secret that he doesn't know much at all about Big Brother. Keanu, that is not a secret. However, he thinks that despite his lack of knowledge, information, experience, and having viewed past seasons, which he has not done, just some highlights here and there, he thinks he's cracked this game and he is really doing well. Keanu also thinks and told Kelly that he believes Rachel is all alone in the game and that's why he wants to work with her. Literally, he must have blinders on. I don't know why he thinks that. Keanu also said that nobody else in the house knows what's going on and that Rachel has no idea what's going on. Kelly said maybe Rachel's playing dumb, but Keanu's like, nah, he knows the scoop. He knows it. So later in the gym, Rachel actually gave Keanu a legit warning about maybe he should count his friends because he's getting played and one of the people playing him is Vince. But again, Keanu thinks he knows better. And then he said this to her. I understand the irony of what I'm about to say. For the lack of a better phrase, you are in the middle floating. And Rachel said, you think I'm floating. So Keanu says, because you lost your strongest ally, but we want you on this side. So he thinks she's alone and he thinks she's a floater. What's evident is because Keanu has this level of Big Brother stupidity about the game. I'm not calling him a stupid person. I'm talking about ignorance of the game. He doesn't know what a floater is or the difference between a floater and a coaster. Rachel is neither, honestly, at this point. She's out there making deals, scraping alliances together, protecting her allies, calming people down, playing her butt off in comps. It's just that she is not winning. She is trying. She's not a floater. She's making her best effort to play the hard game she's played before. She said the game has changed and she just physically isn't doing well at the physical comps. Doesn't make you a floater. Unlike Vince, who's all over the place, selling himself to everybody like an indiscriminate hooker, quadruple booking dates, and then having to throw comps so he's not outed for being a four-faced fibber. Drastic difference in gameplay. Despite Rachel warning him, Keanu disagreed, and then later he was cam talking, high on self-mist, about how he's the only one who really sees what's going on in BB27. This guy, legend in his own mind, self-proclaimed best Big Brother player of all time. Keanu thinks the only thing stopping him from dominating this game is Mickey and Morgan. Okay, sure, Jan. So after talking to Rachel and then talking to himself in the mirror, admiring his growing muscle definition, Keanu actually went to Vince, who Rachel had warned him about, and Keanu replayed the convo while saying that Rachel has no idea what's happening in BB27. So this was part of this conversation. Keanu said, I think Rachel is a floater. And Vince warned him, okay, if you want her on our side, do not say that to her. And Keanu said, read you loud and clear, as in, okay, I won't do it. Meanwhile, he didn't tell Vince he'd already done exactly what he had been warned not to do. Like, already done. I guess maybe Keanu's meaning he's not going to tell her that again. Also, this was interesting. Keanu told Rachel he won't give personal training advice to friends and family because it's a handout. This is the same guy who wouldn't eat if not for handouts from the kitchen where other people are cooking and Keanu is eating. Yet he also was smack talking about Mickey doing so much cooking, and Keanu said her feeding the house was strategic. He needs to take 2 seats. And one of the house guests with a frayed temper from being locked in the house was Mickey. the person he was talking about when she's been feeding him. She laid into Keanu for running his mouth about her cooking, and Mickey also cornered Ashley in the bathroom about running her mouth about her, I think to Jimmy. So Ashley apologized to Mickey and they hugged it out. But then later, Mickey came back around at Ashley for round 2. I definitely think everybody was feeling like hamsters in the habit trail with the backyard locked out. So one last note on Keanu before I get into Rachel's anger and Kelly's bad move in a prelim vote count. So Keanu said to Vince and Zach, unless I'm just a complete idiot for trusting you guys and you guys are throwing my name out there, I don't know what the F they're talking about. So that was really funny because yes, to clarify, Keanu, you are a complete idiot and they are throwing your name out, but you're good TV, to use Jimmy's favorite phrase. It's fun to watch him roam around clueless, like a toddler in a parking lot. And my favorite Big Brother fan tweet of the day, they said, Keanu might be the dumbest F to ever play this game. And that's saying a lot since Raven has played this game. That was an excellent callback and so on point. All right, now to Kelly. While she didn't say it explicitly, it sounds like if it comes down to it, she might throw the BB blockbuster to Adrian because she thinks she has the votes to stay and he has this sob story thing going. Kelly's wrong about the votes, but has been sucked into Adrian's tale of woe. Before I get into Rachel's drastically different take on Adrian's sob story, in a nutshell, what we had was him talking about how rough his life is, and he has several house guests seemingly convinced that he deserves to stay over others because of financial hardship. Adrian's attitude seems to be that unless somebody else in the house has less than he has now or didn't grow up as disadvantaged as he isn't flat broke, they shouldn't win. And I've seen a lot of fan sentiment on Twitter that aligns with my feelings on this. Big Brother is like Survivor. Outwit, outplay, outlast. That's how you earn the win. It's not a scholarship program. Good players deserve to win. Now, I give credit where it's due. If you're playing the I'm broke card as a move, like Johnny Fairplay using his not dead grandma on Survivor, good for you, but otherwise, being broke doesn't mean you get to skip the line. So let's talk about Miss Reilly's reaction. Looks like Rachel overheard Vince and Zach talking about needing money being why you deserve to stay. Seems like they were talking about Adrian. Rachel's reaction, not talking to them, talking to other people, was if you need money, go get a job. If you want money, get a job. If you want to play Big Brother, play Big Brother. I agree with Queen Rachel. Now, real quick, votes. First off, nobody seems to think Will's got a snowball's chance of winning BB Blockbuster. That's a very minimal part of scenarios for votes that's being talked about. They're looking at Will versus Kelly and Will versus Adrian, with the slimmest shot of Kelly versus Adrian if Will stumbles onto a BB Blockbuster win. We've got Keanu trying to protect Kelly by rallying votes to evict Will. Funnily enough, Adrian told Keanu, please don't campaign for me. I like that. Kelly thinks she's solid on votes, but she's not. Adrian does realize he is at risk on eviction night if he's still on the block. Will versus Adrian possibly could be a tie vote, but most likely would see Adrian out the door, at least at this point. If it was Adrian versus Kelly, it would likely be her over him, but things are still shifting. And again, Will seems to be tucked safely into the pawn position, but he is irritated to be back on the block.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.